We're now going to move into the prepared speeches phase, which is the P. Our first speaker tonight is no one other than Benet Gaydos. Benet Gaydos is a project manager, and he received his PMP in 2007. He has been involved with our club, Southwest Project Management Toastmasters, for some time, and he enjoyed watching everyone else speak. The speech today is practice for a new slide deck that he will be using to present to his customers. His speech title is Kickoff Call via Zoom. Please join me by giving Benet a rousing welcome as he delivers his speech. Benet, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I hope everyone can hear me okay and see me all right. I will go ahead and share my screen here via Zoom. So this is one of the new things that we've been doing, and I'm glad that everyone could make this call or be able to see my presentation. I hope everyone can see my presentation at this point. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, well, thank you. My name is Benet Gaydos. I'm going to be your project manager throughout this implementation of Viz.ai. And we're going to go ahead and wanted to talk about Viz.ai because many of you may not know about Viz.ai. Viz.ai is a software intelligence company that has created an algorithm that can detect stroke in your patients. We're able to find an LVO or a large vessel occlusion whenever a CTA is done with your patient. And we are able to do what we're able to do is hopefully synchronize your stroke care so that way you can move that patient through your stroke workflow a bit faster. And we do it by doing three things: providing that AI algorithm to detect the LVO, providing a DICOM handheld viewer so that way you as a clinician can view those images real time and make a decision, even though our AI is in the 95 percentile correct. Still a robot, it's still a computer. We want you as a trained clinician to be able to make that determination, and why we provide you that DICOM handheld viewer to look at those images yourself and be able to make that decision. And once you've made that decision, to be able to communicate and collaborate with your clinical colleagues through our HIPAA compliant texting and chatting feature so that you can move that patient through that stroke workflow. Many of us ask, well, is the AI going to take over our jobs? Is that the only thing that we're going to use? Well, no. What we hope is that we're not taking over any of your workflow. We hope that you're going to continue with your standard of care. That is your normal process. Patient comes into ED, the ED doc says, oh, there's a potential stroke. They do an NIHSS score to determine whether or not the patient has stroke. Then you send the ED doc will send the CT tech does the exam. Then it goes after the CT is done, the images go to the radiologist reads them, and they say yay or nay to the LVO. Then you're making a determination if it is or not. You're activating your stroke workflow. The transfer center comes in, transport the patient from one site to the next to the thrombectomy suite or the IR suite or interventional suite to have the thrombectomy performed. We do not want to replace your standard of care. What we want to do is be able to ride alongside of that standard of care that you have to be able to move that patient quicker, again, through providing that LVO alert or from using our AI algorithm. So instead of waiting for the process of the CTA, the radiologist reading it, and the way the workflow is, the radiologist may have those exams. They may be 5 deep in the queue before they'll reach your stroke patient or your patient before they read the exam to alert the ED doc that, hey, you do have a LVO, start the process. Now with our AI detecting that LVO early, everyone that has access to the application is going to be alerted at the same time so they know what's happening with that patient. So that way, even though you have you're on call IR tech at home at 2 a.m. in the morning, they get the alert. They know that they probably need to start driving into the hospital so they can prep the IR suite up to be prepared for the stroke patient coming in to perform the thrombectomy. Currently, we're in over 600 hospitals, and we're performing this in many states throughout the nation. And so much so, and our product works so well, we've been awarded by Medicare the NTAP, which is the New Technology Add-on Payment. And what that means is by using our application Viz, your hospital will be able to get additional reimbursement for that stroke patient that uses our application. So what I wanted to do is go ahead and show you our project timeline and just talk to you about what that effort looks like. Let's not worry about how many weeks it'll take, but let's take a look at these phases and the different aspects of our project and the effort that we're going to go through. We have the project initiation as part of what we're doing now, our kickoff call and introducing you to Viz AI and being able to make sure we understand all of the project team members. As we're moving through, we're also going to work with your PM to be able to get that project initiation and the planning. We'll have workflow discovery with our customer success manager and how we're going to be able to integrate into your clinical workflow with Viz. And we're going to also be able to do a work effort around the infrastructure and networking, which is where we're building our VMs and building the networks to allow those CT scanners to be able to send to our servers. We also have a configuration and validation where we're going to make sure that we are sending appropriately, and we'll need your partnership in doing that. And then we're going to be training you on the application before we go live. And then we're not going to leave you by yourself, because post-live, we're going to have a support team that handles you as well as your customer success manager that'll be part of that post-live implementation and for the rest of the contract. So, and our customer success manager is someone that's going to be that point of contact for you. They're going to be able to provide you all of this workflow, your best practices, and be able to make sure that you are integrating Viz into your workflow. So thank you very much. Hope for any questions at this point. Thank you. So thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be delivering an icebreaker speech. She is in the Pathways Presentation Mastery. And our speech title is going to be, I'm Not a Procrastinator. Lisbeth Chacon is a project planner, and he recently got his PMP certification just about 5 months ago. She is also new to the Toastmasters Club. And today, as I said, she will be presenting our first icebreaker about the process of creating the speech. Please join me in giving Lisbeth a Texas-sized welcome as she delivers a wonderful speech.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster. I'm happy to be in this ebullient meeting tonight. My name is Lisbeth Chacon. I'm becoming a procrastinator, and I will tell you why. 4 weeks ago, the last time that we saw each other in our last meeting, I registered myself to this my first pathways and immediately appointed to deliver my icebreaker. I felt back in a moment that if I didn't force myself to do it, I could just postpone the presentation for a very long time. 4 weeks have passed since then. I visited my base camp several times. I also read Carol's Pathways presentations, but for some reason, I couldn't put myself in the mood to think about my speech, my icebreaker speech. To the point that I've been procrastinated the fact for 3 weeks, and I start thinking, should I just retire my name to speak in the next meeting? This is very unusual for me because I'm not like that. And for sure, this is a quality or a characteristic that I've never put in my resume considering I'm project planner. So last week, I started like an exercise of self-analysis and questioning myself of why this is happening. After all, when I registered to the Toastmaster Club, I knew that it was to deliver speeches, to speak in public, to become a better speaker. And then I have a moment of realization and start thinking about all my past experiences as a public speaker and realize that all of them, or the major one, the important ones, has been in Spanish. And it hit me. The reason that I was postponing or I wasn't avoiding to start thinking about my speech is because I didn't want to present my speech in English. And that was the issue. And I thought about all the moments that I had to deliver speeches and what happened during those moments. I was the valedictorian in my high school prom. I defended my thesis for my degree. Sometimes, a couple of times, I do the Sunday mass reading at church. I used to lead meetings in my old job. So what was the problem? I realized that I don't have problems with public speaking at all. But yes, it's frightening me and it frightens me the moment that I have to think, okay, this speech has to be, it's in English. So I start to think, and since we moved here, I've had these episodes of a multiple personality disorder kind of feeling in which whenever I have to speak in English, I can't express myself. I'm unable to make a joke. I'm unable to be funny. It's not about grammar or pronunciation or vocabulary. It's an actual inability to express myself fully and openly as in the way that I do in Spanish. So after this breakthrough moment, I said, okay, I'm gonna start working in speech. I'm gonna present in the next Toastmaster meeting. And I'm here tonight to present my icebreaker speech. I'm not fully sure if it matches 100% the requirements that the Toastmaster curriculum has for the icebreaker, but it's my personal way to break the ice to this fear to talk to you, or talk in public in general. Fellow Toastmaster, thank you all for listening me to this act of constriction. And please do not think that I do not respect you or your time. This club has a very important significance right now in my career, in the things that I want to accomplish. And I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands together. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Let's put our hands together for Lisbeth. It's 7:07 now, and we should be at 7:11. That means we are ahead of our schedule by 4 minutes. That does not mean I'm going to take your time for the next 4 minutes. So I'm just going to ask Mr. Table Topics Master, who is interestingly, he is our immediate past president, and is also the current Division L, I believe, Division L Director within District 56 Toastmasters. Having needs no introduction. I'm just going to ask him to go ahead with his ebullient questions while we await ebullient answers. Over to you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Akeem. As usual, you just carried the whole ship wonderfully, ebulliently, and we are looking forward to this impromptu section. Tonight, we will be having traditional table topics. What that means is that I am going to call upon a name, or will let you volunteer for the next question. Only then I will be asking that question, and then you have to think on your feet. So generally how table topic goes is, a question will be presented to you on the fly. You get 1 or 15 seconds to think and then respond to it. The time to respond is 1 to 2 minutes. When it's 1 minute, our timer would be showing the green, 1.5 minute yellow, and once it's 2 minutes, she will be flashing the red card. And once the red card is flashed, you get 30 seconds to complete. So today's theme of table topics would be art of selling. Now, why did we choose that? Well, in professional development, we not only practice or build ourselves into constant learning and implementing what we learned, but most importantly, we have to sell also. Otherwise, nobody will know what we are capable of, right? And generally, we sell in 3 things. We sell product, we sell our skill, or we sell some service. So the basic fundamental of how we sell is on 3 categories. Number 1, when we try to sell, we either compare and contrast with some other product. Or number 2, we tell someone that this product is a better version of its previous release. Or number 3, this specific thing is going to solve a very personal problem to you. Generally, these are the 3 principles how we sell things. Well, I'm not in sales field, but I had to build upon a little bit of sales so that we all know where we land and it can be profitable to you and to your organization also. All right, let's jump in. Today, as I mentioned, the theme is art of selling, and be creative, be wild in your thought process. There is no right way to sell anything. And the things that I will be presenting to you to sell is very generic things. Don't think there is one single way to sell anything. Just use your creativity, use your imagination to come up with something. I would be targeting the folks here who don't have roles. So who is going to volunteer first?
I will volunteer Jessica because she doesn't have a role.
All right, Jessica. The first thing that you need to sell is a laptop, a brand new laptop. The problem is that laptop doesn't have a screen.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster. Good evening, table topic Master. That's a very interesting thing. I'm selling a laptop with no screen. I'm just thinking about the product, but then I'm just trying to think about the 3 principles you gave me, compare with other things. It's a better product or solve the problem for you. So that's very tricky. I'm going to take the 3rd option, maybe solve the problem for you. So hello, everyone. I'm going to sell this laptop, and my laptop can solve a lot of problems for people. And when you have questions, you can enter it, and then they will come out with answers. And this make me think about a product like, maybe you're all familiar with, like Alexa. It doesn't need to have a screen. You just talk to him, to her, ask the question, and she will do the research and then give you out the answer. So I'm thinking, and with some new product, our laptop, and it's more advanced than Alexa, and you can guess all the functions. If you think a need you want to have, you can talk to me, and we can develop that function for you. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Wonderful, wonderful, Jessica. Wonderfully done. This is how you come back from, like, what we say, to a very robust product. And again, those 3 things that I gave, those are generic guidelines. You don't have to formulate your answer based on that. Just feel free, be as creative as you are. You just presented something wonderful, comparing it with an Alexa, which doesn't even have a screen. 50 or 40 years back, whenever we had these processing computers, there were no screen, actually. So we are so dependent right now to a screen. How about bringing something back from history and then selling it once again? Well done, absolutely well done. Next, who is going next? Can we expect any of our guests, Jalisa or Rachel? You wanna try?
This will be a great topic for our innovation department.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
All right, Jalisa. So this would be an easy one to you. Who's gonna try, Jalisa? You said you're gonna try, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Have you seen a gas card? Gas card meaning like ExxonMobil $25 gift card. Have you seen that?
Imagine what it looks like. I don't think I've actually seen one.
All right, let's imagine there is a gift card of $25 ExxonMobil gas card. I request you to sell it to Elon Musk.
Well, that may be difficult considering that he's more of an electric person, but okay. Okay, so I know that, I guess I'm speaking to Elon Musk. So I know that you are more so focused on the environmental impacts that fuel causes on the earth. However, I know that some people may also have the cons with the electric cars, being that they cannot use the cars on a more of a long distance type of travel. This will require them to possibly plan ahead to figure out whether there are charging stations in close to proximity of their destination. So if you offer them an incentive, which is a gas card to sell along with your electric vehicle, then this will alleviate some of the pressure of the con of not purchasing the vehicle that you have because it is an electric. So that causes problems when people are trying to commute to and from work, or if they want to travel outside of their local areas. So as an incentive, when guests are purchasing or customers are purchasing your vehicle, you can offer them a gas card. So that way they can feel a little bit at ease and less stress when they are purchasing the vehicle, and knowing that they have that as a backup plan in case, you know, they want to switch over to a commuter car or whatever reason they have. But that's what I have for you.
Wonderfully done. Absolutely. This is such a nice way to express, like, even though he is building up on the electricity and electric vehicle, it's always good to have like that backup gas card. Wonderfully said that. Next, who is going next? Somebody from the team who has roles? Who wants to try?
We still have someone without a role.
I see Rafia.
And they're not a
Rafia.
guest. And I will be
can-
unfair. I'll be unfair to Jessica if I don't call them.
All right,
You know
Rafia.
You know what, Avi, I'm not a good seller. I can give the material, I can give the product free.
You know what? When you say you're not a good seller, then you're in the right place to practice it right now.
There we go. Well said.
All right, I'll keep it a little easy right now.
Okay.
You need to sell cat food to a dog owner.
Okay. Okay. Cat food to a dog owner, okay. Okay. For the dog owner, I would suggest to give your dog the cat food. It is very light on the stomach, and your dog is not going to be barking. It's going to be meowing. And you don't have to take your dog for the walk if you let the dog eat the cat food. And it's going to be very soft, and it's going to be very cuddly. The dog will be in your bed, and you will be feeling the fur of the dog. And and what I'm thinking, what else can be the benefit of being a cat? Yeah, and then and your dog can be in different colors, maybe black and maybe the brown. And your dog can go and use the litter. You don't have to take the dog outside for littering. So this food has a lot of benefits, and this is something that I can think about. But there are going to be a lot more than that. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rafia. That was really funny. Thanks a lot. This should be how to convert a dog into a cat. And
I know.
Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done. Rachel, you want to try one?
Yeah, sure. I'll try it.
All right. Woo!
Yoo-hoo!
You have a gift certificate of 15-day crash course on how to make money. And you have to sell this certificate to Jeff Bezos.
Okay. Okay. That's so hard. Okay. So, like Julie says, I assume I'm talking to Jeff. So, I know you're very rich already. I know you have a lot of investments already. However, this gift certificate can double your money if you make the right investments with it. That's all I got. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Do I have time, or I am done, Mr. Toastmaster? One more? Okay,
Yes, one more.
all right. Who would like to take the next one?
Let
I
me
think
take
I
it
wanna-
since I gave two people a hard time. So I better just take it to redeem my image.
All right. So you have in your garage a 1980 Chevrolet SUV that is sitting there since last 10 years. The engine has problem, electrical issue. You need to sell this car right now. How would you sell that car out?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, and good evening, everyone. I just visited a vintage car shop this past Saturday in the morning. They call it Coffee and Cars. And I ran into this gentleman who looked around. He was looking for a vintage car to buy, but he couldn't find any. As he looked around, and I just went to him. I said, "Excuse me, sir, may I be of any help?" Then he said to me, "I'm just looking for a vintage car to buy." I said, "Do you mind the condition of the car?" He said, "No, I've got enough money to refurbish the car and make it to the level that I like it to be." I said, "Okay, where do you live?" Because for me, selling is about building relationships. It's about understanding the needs. In fact, as a seller, I'm a negotiator. And what is one practical skill of a negotiator? Listening. You have to be able to listen. So I listened to him as he explained to me what he wanted, what he would like. Lo and behold, the following Saturday, I invited him to my house to come and look at the car that I've got in my garage. He showed up. I showed him the car. I said, "You know what? This is what I've been looking for." At that point in time, as a seller that I am, I realized that the power has left him and the power is now with me to name my price. And he told me, he looked at me, he said, "Name your price." And I gave him a price that was double how much I would have sold it. Before you know it, about 4 weeks after that time, when we had another coffee and car session, this guy had refurbished the car. He actually drove it to Coffee and Car Show one Saturday morning. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazingly answered, Toastmaster Akeem. One question for you. How much did you sell that car for? Here on mute.
I sold the car for $167,000.80. And this man did not even blink. He just wrote me the check and off he went with someone to pick up the car. And he went away for about 4 weeks and brought it back to a type of car that, I said, I will actually pay more money than he paid me to get the car back.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That was really funny. All right. Madam Timer, did every speaker qualify?
This section. Now we're going to the E part, which is the evaluation of the prepared speeches. And to lead us through that is no one else other than distinguished Toastmaster Carol Reader. Carol, without further ado, I'd really appreciate if you just take it away. You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this role. It is my pleasure now to introduce the evaluators for our 2 speeches. Evaluating our first speaker, B'nai Gatos, will be Anthony Alley. Anthony, would you like to proceed then with your evaluation of B'nai?
You are muted.
You're muted.
I am ebullient about B'nai's goal. He decided to practice a real life work presentation. This is an incredible opportunity to practice in a safe environment. Why? This club is made of executives at various levels, project and program managers, and retired and people from all levels of speaking skills. and they can listen and provide great feedback. Most importantly, this is a safe club where you're going to be encouraged. No matter how you do, you're always going to find some point of positive to be able to grab from your speech, which is very important, a way to encourage you before you speak before a company or customers. And I'm going to evaluate this speech based upon this framework: content, delivery, and connection. Because you chose this content, it was fantastic, and you gave an intro to the Toastmaster, who presented to everyone who you were and what your goals were. To improve that intro, you could have told the Toastmaster, let everyone put on the hat of a doctor, a nurse, or an IT worker, because that's going to be my audience. That would have prepared them to even give a feedback just like your audience. And you had great slide in your presentations. I really like the fact that you were focused on many things, but one thing that I like about one slide, and that was, it said, this product has been deployed in 600 hospitals. Wow, that was a power-packed statement. I would love to see that in the beginning, in the first few seconds. Grabs credibility, hooks the audience in, and they go, wow, 600 hospitals, I gotta listen. That's one point of improvement that I think would help your presentation to go even to the next level. In regard to delivery, you did a fantastic job of making sure that you spoke clearly, great vocal and projections, you had great pauses, and you could maximize your visual. You have a very dark background. That gives a foreboding feeling. You want a trust feeling, increase that. Not only that, in your visuals, remove as much jargon as possible. Present a story, maybe a real life story of someone struggling with a heart problem, and saying, this is the person that's struggling with a heart problem, and here's what they're going through. They come to you, and what do? This program will save their lives, will make your job easier, will allow you to finally have more time with your patients, will allow you to have some rest time, which a lot of medical workers need. Lastly, regarding connection. One thing that was missing that I think would be helpful would be if you ask questions before the meeting for the audience to be prepared, so they will ask questions either before or during the presentation. That way you get greater engagement when you're presenting, and that will make your presentation go to the next level. Congratulations.
And the speaker was Lisbeth, and the evaluator is Jorge Alba. Thank you very much, Jorge.
Thank you very much, Mrs. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters. I think you all agree with me that we found a new Toastmaster here with a lot of potential. I think that Lisbeth really selected a very good speech that we can all relate to immediately, because we all have been in this situation. We all have been procrastinators, and sometimes, every time, we all have been afraid to speak in public. So her presentation was very good, very clear. I understood from her presentation that Lisbeth's first language is not English, and that was one of the reasons that she was afraid to speak in English, to present in English. But I think her presentation was clear. The spoken English was good and very interesting, the way she presented all these fears in front of all of us. She really brought our attention. So I think Lisbeth really excelled at having a very good vocal variety, having a very good spoken English, and selecting a very good, very interesting topic that we all connected with. Now, what do I think that Lisbeth can be working a little bit on, can challenge herself a little bit, is in her eye contact. I know it's very difficult to speak to a camera on a computer because you are not presenting in front of all the people alive. But when we are presenting on Zoom, we have to learn to look at the camera like if we are looking at the people, so people can look into our eyes. So I really think that you can practice a little bit more, look into the camera, talking to the camera, and that will improve a lot your presentations. Also your gestures. You can make a lot of emphasis on your gestures. And I think that you were using your hands several times, but you were kind of keeping them here. Like you were afraid to make the point, to point to something, to select something, to grab something. That will bring a lot more emphasis, a lot more energy to your presentation. So I really encourage you to also improve your gestures. And what I will want you to challenge to is sometimes presenting in Zoom when we are sitting is harder. I challenge you the next time to stand up and use your entire body to present to the people. Not just sitting there with your hands and your face, but your entire body can convey that message with a lot more energy. And finally, we all have to make a call for action at the end of our presentations. I want you to challenge yourself to make a call for action. It could be to the rest of the attendees of the meeting, or it could be for yourself personally, but that will also bring closure to the end of the presentation. But altogether, for being your icebreaker, I'm very happy, I'm ebullient that I had the chance to be your evaluator, because I see a Toastmaster with a lot of potential. Thank you very much.